bunch of gamers, one channel, and tons of games. This must be Games and Me. Hey guys, welcome to the Review Club. You miss us. It's post E3 again, and we're back to reviewing games. So let me introduce everybody who's going to be here and ask them what they've been playing. So let's start with you, Mark. So what have you been playing?
Well, I thought I would quit, but I'm slowly being pulled back into the fighting game tournament scene. And
You nerd.
All I've been playing is Street Fighter Third Strike and Street Fighter 4.
Nice. How about you, CK?
Well, I'm still trying to beat Persona 4. What a surprise. Also been playing a hell of a lot of the first Phoenix Wright game. Thanks, Ted.
You're welcome.
You know that I got Tim hooked into Persona 4, right?
Yeah, well, this is funny because you realize that we're going to be talking about Persona 4 like for the next several months now because
I think Atlas likes hearing that, I guess. So, how about you, Chris?
Infamous and Persona 4.
Oh, you bought it, huh?
Nice.
Nice. All right, how about you, Vanessa?
Sims 3 and EA Sports Active, which I'm going to review.
Awesome. And Ted?
I actually been playing a lot of Punch-Out, which I'm going to review.
Nice. What have I been playing? Oh, yeah, that's right. Devil Summoner 2, which I'm reviewing today. So, all right.
Wow, we're talking about the games we're going to review, and we're playing them.
Yes.
Wow.
Who'd have thunk it?
We're like the only review place that actually plays the games we review.
Nice. So, all right. Well, I want to review Devil Summoner because this is well overdue. So, CK, I know you're not reviewing it today, but do you want to preface my review?
Well, okay. My thoughts on Devil Summoner 2. This is actually your thoughts, but I'm just rephrasing them so it sounds like they're my thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess what you could say about the Mega 10 games, rightly, is that they take a pre-existing RPG franchise and then just kind of give it their own unique twist. Like, for instance, there's a lot of Digimon and Persona, and it's kind of their mainstream series, so it's like their version of Final Fantasy. If that's the case, then Devil Summoner 2 is like Atlus's version of Star Ocean. It's an action RPG, that's how they say it, that's how they sell it, although I don't know if I'd say it's like a straight-out Zelda-style action RPG as much as it is a traditional RPG that happens to have a very action-oriented battle system, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The thing that really sells me on this game is that it takes what was already a great play mechanic with Star Ocean and Tales, but then kind of puts it into this really unique universe that draws you in like few other games do. I mean, because let's be honest, how many other games can you think of that take place in an alternate universe version of 1921 Japan and go into all this wonderful history about the Japanese attitude at the time, and then have demons?
Yeah. The first time I actually played that game, I wasn't really sure of the time period and stuff because I wasn't really a big fan of the Roaring Twenties. And hell, the Roaring Twenties in Japan, it's like, never even seen that. So, but when I finally got control of the character and I finally got out of the beginning tutorial section, that was actually pretty cool because that's when you basically experience the real game. Because I think that the tutorial in the very beginning kind of dragged on for a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, what was your experience? I remember, like, you basically said, like, that one day that you got it, you played through that, and then you just stopped.
Yeah, because, to be honest, the tutorial, it's focusing too much on the weird mystical demon part of it, and I was like, well, wait a minute, I thought this game was supposed to take place in like the 20s and supposed to be all this fun stuff, but you have to go through a pretty long tutorial first although in retrospect, some of it is perhaps kind of necessary because the battle system is rather complex and you do need a lot of explanation to go through it. But again, once you get past that part and you actually go into the actual world, it's like a whole door opens as far as your attitude towards that game, because suddenly you get into all the stuff about like the Japanese obsession at the time with like foreign delicacies and with anything Western, and then you have like the whole obsession with luck, although that's not really historical as much as it is part of the game. But it's like, wow, this is like, it makes you want to go look this up on Wikipedia or in a library and find out more about that era of Japan.
Yeah. And one thing that's notable that, something we need to talk about is, of course, the demon fusion system, because all the Shin Megami Tenseis have some sort of demon fusion system where you can basically merge one demon with another. In this particular game, they're very explicit when they basically call demons demons. It's not like, oh, that demon's actually called a persona. It's not really like, it's like... I mean, hell, no pun intended, but your character is called a devil summoner. So that's kind of like, part of that kind of storyline. But what's really cool about it is the fact that it is, in essence, kind of like a Tales game or a, Star Ocean game. But what differs from it is that you don't have party members. You have Raidou, who's the main character, who looks like a driver. I don't know. He looks like a 1920s driver or something, like from the onset. But you also have two other party members who are basically your demons, and they all fight in real time and stuff like that. And what I really appreciate with it is the fact that you can actually call them back, and they'll be completely invulnerable, and they won't be able to attack, but you can actually save them from totally getting like wiped out and stuff by like a huge spell, which, it's very instantaneous. It's very reactive. So, compared to something like, the Tales series or the Star Ocean series, where your characters are just going to keep hammering like, your opponents and stuff, you can actually, with one button press, summon back all your demons so they won't get hit. So
exactly. And another thing I appreciate is that, again, going into this, I didn't like the idea that there was only going to be one party member and it was just going to be the two demons. But I like how the demons actually have personalities of their own. And it's almost as if they were the other members of your party, because what this game does, kind of like the first two Persona games, is that in order to even get the demons in your party, you have to recruit them, which requires a lot of negotiation at the beginning of battles. And this was actually really interesting. It's almost like a dating sim in some respects, because you have to answer the right way with the questions they ask, and some of it reminded me of when you were trying to build social links in Persona.
To some degree, yes. But one thing that you'll notice, like the more you play the game later on, is that each of the certain character types or persona types have their own set archetypal like needs and stuff. Like the Cell Kit, which you fought in at the end of the temple section, like in the tutorial. You can't really like spare them and stuff like that, or else they'll take advantage of you and start attacking you and stuff. You can actually have to threaten them. So earlier in the game, you're expected to be nice, and then later on in the middle of the game, you're expected to be really mean to certain monsters, or else they'll overpower you and get a free hit, which sucks.
And I like that, because I've already experienced that myself at the point I'm at in the game, and I like how you're like what you would expect to say in order to get what you want, which is normally like just be as nice as possible. Sometimes you have to be an asshole, kind of like real life.
But that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like, kind of definitely going to recommend this to completionists, is because there's a whole ton of demons, and pretty much like, let's not mince words here, they're basically the same characters from Persona 4, Persona 3. And they all have very different types of attacks and stuff. And unlike Persona 4, which is kind of unclear as to what the inheritance how the inheritance works out, it's it actually works a lot better, I think, because what also happens in this game that's very different from Persona is that they actually have a loyalty system. So the more that you use a specific demon, the more passive kind of attributes that they get. So like, let's say they'll be immune to something specific and stuff. And what you can do actually is when you fuse two demons, you can choose what passive inheritance you'd actually want to pass on to the child, which is kind of cool. And of course, it's a really funny thing when you merge demons and stuff, and you have a high loyalty with one of those demons. They actually write you a death note, and then you can read it, and it has a gift and stuff like that, which is I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean that's definitely like something that I'd recommend it to. Not also the adventurers, because there's just a lot of places to explore in that game, even just with the immediate environment that's available to you. There's a lot of people to talk to. You can actually read minds. That's another cool thing about the Devil Summoner 2.